తర్వాత
Hello. Hello. Srinivas sir. Srinivas sir. Start our class after 1 minute. Why? Because we try to giving the chance to join some other members. So at present, I think 42 members only. So please wait for 1 minute. I hope I am audible to everyone. At the same time, yeah, I hope all of the members able to see the screen now. Am I right or not? Srinivas sir. Srinivas sir. Hello. Srinivas sir. Please respond once. Srinivas sir. I hope I am audible to everyone. Okay, we can start our session. Please respond anyone through chat box. Is it my voice is audible? At the same time, are you able to see the screen now also? Are you able to see the screen now or not? Please respond through chat box. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, 69 and Manasa. Okay, we can start our session. Okay, in the last class, we are discussing about the analyzing architectures and another one is the ATAM. So in this session, we try to complete the last topic of the second unit. So the first part of the second unit. So that is CBAM also. Okay, just to try to revise what we discussed in the last class. We're already discussing what is the need of analyzing architectures. Hello, hello. All of you mute yourself first. Don't try to create any type of the disturbance. Hello. Please, all of the members mute yourself first. The members. Yeah. Hello. Still, some of the members creating the disturbance. 21 and 41. Who is 21 and 41? Hello. Who is number 21 and 41? 41 vanilla. Please mute yourself first. And 21 also. May I start my session? Srinivas sir. Srinivas sir. Okay. Okay, in the last class, we are discussing about the analyzing architectures. So in that analyzing architectures, we are already discussing about so why we need to evaluating the architecture. So and how we are evaluating the architecture. So and here we are consider the two types of evaluations. Those are planned evaluation and another one is the unplanned evaluation also. So if it is a planned evaluation, there is no problem. If it is an unplanned evaluation, it will be creates a lot of problems in front of the end users and automatically increasing creates the financial issues. Okay, and another thing is the ATM. So in the case of architectural evaluation, here we are consider mainly 6 types of inspections. So when we are evaluating the software architecture, should be we are based upon to the 6 issues. Those are the first one is the financial issue, and second one is we try to arranging the reviews, and third one is captured rational, and fourth one is identifying the errors in the existing architecture, and fifth one is performing the validation testing, and sixth one is improve the architectures. So that means these 6 types of inspections are needed. So when we are performing the evaluation of the architecture, software architecture. So otherwise we will face a lot of problems. So why? Because before delivering the software to the end users, we should be performing the evaluation efficiently. Otherwise we will face number of problems. So maybe those are related to the first thing is the financial. So if for example, maybe if the for example, if you are not able to achieve desired qualities, then we need to performing the reconstructing the software architecture. Am I right or not? So at this time of situation, maybe the chance of increasing the time, at the same time increasing the money, at the same time increasing the pupil also. So then automatically it will be giving the influence onto the financial issue. Am I right or not? So in the same way, second thing is the forced preparation for the review. So that means here we are arranging number of reviews during the completion, during the development of the software. Why? Because so these type of reviews are used for to providing the easier interaction and understandability and avoid the ambiguity in front of the developers. Why? Because more number of developers may creates an understanding between more so how many number of disabilities we are achieved. So all are built into the capture rationale. So that means before any having the term into the case here. So existing architects and record. So the fifth one of hello. Is it my voice is audible to everyone? Hello? Is it my voice is audible to everyone at the same time? Are you able to see the screen now or not? Please respond anyone. Send one message through chat box. I hope my voice is audible to everyone. May I continue my session? Thank you, thank you. Okay. Okay, in the last class, we are discussing all these things. So how we are evaluating the architecture. So that means these 6 type of issues are used for to performing the evaluation efficiently. So if you are not performing the evaluation, these are creating the problems also. So one of the problem is financial way. And second thing is, if you are not arranging the reviews for every during the development of the software, that will be also creates the problems. And here we are trying to identify what we are achieved and what we are not achieved, and which type of problems are occurred within our existing architecture. So if you are observing all these things, those are used for to correct ourselves and try to giving the good quality of the software architecture to the end users. Okay, and it will be reached to the desired qualities. So in the case of quality attributes, here we are considered 3 types of qualities. So those are, the first one is the system qualities, business qualities, architectural qualities. In the case of business qualities, so we are mainly focused on to the business, how to we are market this developed architecture. So whether it will be meets the particular goals or not. So whether it will be able to available, is it maintainable within the competitive environment or not. So all these things are verified into the business qualities. So if you are verifying all these things, if you are performing the evaluation efficiently, then it will be giving the good rating for the organization. Otherwise it will be giving the influence to the some of the things. Those are nothing but stakeholders, developed organization, architects and architects environment, and technical environment also. So all these are influenced if we are not performing the evaluation efficiently. Okay, and the last one is improved architectures if you are correct ourselves from the previous phases. For example, in the case of financial issue, so verifying whether it is within the scope or not. So at the same time, second thing, at each and every time of the review, we are established some goals. We try to complete up to here or maybe up to this module. So these type of reviews are used for to provide the understandability and avoid the conflicts within the developers. Okay, so these are the best way to examine the architecture or evaluating the architecture. Okay, and we are using different types of properties to evaluate the software architectures. Those type of properties are, the first one, clearly articulated goals and requirements for the architecture. So that means before developing the software, that architects may be having the clear idea. So what we are achieved and what is our goal. So definitely they are having clear idea about the goal. Okay, and second thing is control scope. So that means here verifying, so whether it is within the scope or out of the scope. So otherwise it will be leads to the higher costs and maybe we try to face higher risks also. So why? Because before developing the software, the architects should be having the idea how many numbers are needed, how much of time is needed, and how much of amount is needed to developing that type of the quality software architecture. Okay, in some type of situations, maybe so our estimation is wrong. So at the time of the situation, we need to include the quality attributes. At the same time, it will be leads to the using lot of money also. So that means it will be out of the control. So we try to verify that, and cost effectiveness is also the same thing. And the key personal availability here, this is also the one of the main property in the architecture evaluation. Why? Because so for example, architects mainly focus on to the security, and so if we are not maintain the security in the proper way, that will be also creates the problem. And fifth one is related with the business quality. So that means whether it will be suitable to into the competitive environment or not. So that means we are verifying whether it is the developed software architecture is better than the existing the softwares or not. So for example, maybe our developed architecture is not able to better. Now, if it is not better than the existing ones, then there is no use, and we are not able to doing the market within the proper way, and we are not getting the good rating also. So we try to verify whether it is suitable to release in the competitive real world or not. And the last one is the managed expectations. I think the name is implies here what we are observed up to now. So those are recorded and try to manage the our or maybe reach the our expectations. So these are also the important properties to performing the successful evaluation of the software architecture. Okay, all these are discussed in the last class, and we are using two types of methods to performing the evaluation of the architecture. So I am already saying about this. These are the parts of analyzing the architectures. Okay, so how we are analyzing the architecture? So that means what we are here analyzing. So that means here we are analyzing the software architecture. So whether those type of modules are properly functioned or not, whether that type of the architecture is easily interacting with the users or not, whether it will be maintains the sufficient quality or not. So all these things are verified in the case of evaluation. So here we are using two types of methods. The first method is ATAM. So what is the meaning of ATAM? Architecture trade-offs analysis method. So that means here we are verifying the and performing the proper evaluation. So verifying the proper evaluation on the software architecture by using ATAM. So that means architecture trade-off analysis method. So why we are referred as a ATM? Because it reveals how well an architecture satisfy particular quality goals, and because it recognizes that architectural decisions tend to affect more than one quality attribute. It provides insight into how quality goals interact. Yeah, that is how they trade off. So that means in the main purpose of using the ATAM means to reach our desired quality goals. Okay, so ATAM is designed to elicit the business goals for the system as well as for the architecture. It is also designed to use the goals and stakeholder participation to focus the attention of evaluators on the portions of the architecture that is central to the achievement of our goals. So that means here the main purpose of ATAM is used for to performing the evaluation in the efficient type of way. Okay, so here we are using three types of groups in the ATAM. So this is also we are discussed in the last class. Just I'm trying to revise the what we discussed in the last class. Okay, so main groups. So here we are consider the three types of groups. Those are first one is the evaluation team. Second one is the project decision makers, and third one is architecture stakeholders. So in the case of evaluation team, just we need 4 to 5 people. In the case of project decision makers, so that means, for example, if you are observe any type of the errors, or maybe if any type of things are needed during the uh, during the development of the particular software architecture, so then we try to take some decisions. Maybe this is the better way to design the software architecture is like this. So at the time of the situation, we are based upon the three members here. So those members are project manager, customer, and architect. And the third one is architecture stakeholders. So these are recommended to 12 to 15, or maybe more than the stakeholders also. Here, stakeholders means maybe the end users, or maybe the project managers, or maybe the developers. So whatever it may be. So which users are directly interacting with the software, those members we can treat it as stakeholders. So in the case of evaluation team, this group is external to the project whose architecture being evaluated. It is usually consists of 3 to 5 people. Each member of the team is assigned to the number of specific roles to play during the evaluation. Okay, the evaluation team may be standing unit in which architecture evaluations are regularly performed, or its members may be chosen from a pool of architecturally same individuals for the occasion. So that means these members are used for to performing the evaluation. So basically here we are considered just only 3 to 5 members. Okay, 4 to 5 members. Okay, in the second case, project decision makers. So here we are consider the three members. Those are the project manager, architect, and another one is the stakeholders, or maybe the users. These people are empowered to speak for the development of the project to have authority to mandate the changes to it. They usually include the project manager, and if there is an identifiable customer who is footing the bill for development, he or she will be present as well as. So here we are consider some of the persons, maybe the architects, at the same time project manager, or maybe the users. So these members, if these members are identifying any errors, or maybe if these members are identifying any new things, so those type of new inventions are also included into the developed architecture. So that's why these members are referred as project decision makers. And the third one is architecture stakeholders. These members directly interacting with the developed software architecture. So that means these members are verifying so many things like maybe the performance, reliability, security, and operability, portability, okay, scalability, whatever it may be, the quality attributes. So all these attributes are completely verified and giving the exact feedback from the stakeholders. Okay, so these three types of things are performed into the efficiently by the ATAM. So ATAM means architecture trade-off analysis method. Okay, so in the case of so after if we are using the ATM, then what we are achieving here. So here I'm mentioning that so a concise presentation of the architecture. So that means we are giving complete details and exact details which are needed for to the architecture. So those type of those type of things are available in that architecture. Defined business goal. Okay, and third one is quality requirements via collection of scenarios. Mapping of architectural decisions to quality requirements. A set of risks and non-risks and risk themes. So all these are also we are discussed in the last class. So first one is when we are using ATM, then we can present the architecture within the efficient type of way, and we are able to define the business goals. So that means business goals means before developing the software, those architects or maybe developers having some type of goals. So for this purpose only we are designing this software. So able to define the business goals. At the same time, identifying the quality requirements. For example, if any time of the situation, maybe we are not able to reach the our desired quality. So for to maintain that quality, which type of things are necessary? Those are identified through collection of scenarios and mapping of architectural decisions to quality requirements. So that means here architects involved to including the some other things or maybe the some other attributes included into the developed architecture. So the type of the thing will be performed here. So that step will be referred as mapping of architectural decisions to the quality requirements. And here we are identifying whether set of risks and non-risks. So that means we identify higher risks and lower risks, and safe state also. If it is a safe state, that is nothing but non-risk. If it is a not a safe state, that is we are maybe facing the risks, maybe higher or maybe the lower. Okay, so these are also easily performed by using the ATAM. Okay, so all these things are we are discussed in the last class. Okay, now we are discussing about the phases of the ATM. So in the exam point of view, this is very important question. Explain ATM with examples. Okay, or maybe how we are performing the architecture evaluation within efficient way by using any one of the method. So then we can select the ATM. So here we are using three types of phases: zero phase, first phase, second phase, third phase. So the zero phase related with the partnership and preparation, and second step and first step and second step related with the evaluation, and third step related with the follow-up. Okay, if you are observing me clearly, so zero phase, first phase, second phase, third phase. So zero phase related with the partnership and preparation. So that means establishing the communication, and 1 and 2 are used for to performing the evaluation. In that part 1, phase 1 has 6 steps to performing the evaluation. In the same way, phase 2 also having the 3 steps to performing the evaluation, and phase 3 just to follow up. So what are the in which type of way performing the evaluation? So in the case of phase 1, so that is nothing but present the ATAM process. Second one, present the business drivers, present the architecture, identifying the architecture approaches, generate quality attribute tree, and analyze architectural approaches. So these type of these 6 steps are followed in the phase 1. Okay, so what is a present ATM process? So that means here the first step calls for the evaluation leader to present the ATM to the assembled project representatives. This time is used to explain the process that everyone will be following to answer the questions and to set the context and expectations for the remainder of the activities. Using the standard presentation, the leader will describe the ATM steps in brief and outputs of the evaluation. So that means before using the ATM for the software architecture evaluation, the first step is present the ATM process. So that means we are using those type of steps, how we are performing the evaluation. So, and what which type of outputs are we will be reached. And second thing is present the business drivers. So that means consider the business goals. The system most important functions, any relevant technical, managerial, economic, and political constraints. The business goals and context as they related to the project. The major stakeholders, the architectural drivers, that is the major quality attributes goals that shape the architecture. So that means here we are consider the, so for example, the quality attributes are also deciding the business. So if it is if the performance is very good, then automatically we will be able to doing the market easily. So automatically it will be reaching the business quality. So those type of issues are related with the second step. And third step is present architecture. So that means here driving the architectural requirements, important architectural information and architectural approaches, patterns and tactics employed, uses of commercial of the shelf, and a trace of the most important use case scenarios, and trace one of the most important change scenarios, architectural issues. So that means here we are completely based upon the architecture. So that means how many number of modules are there, and how those type of modules are performed. So if there is if any module is not performed efficiently, then we try to change that module, and we try to correct the errors. Okay, all these things are performed into the present architecture. Next, identify architectural approaches. The ADM focus on the analyzing the architecture by understanding its architectural approaches. Architectural patterns are useful, known as in each one affects the particular quality attributes. So that means here architectural approaches. So architectural approaches are used for to achieving the quality. So by now the evaluation team we will have the good idea of what patterns and approaches that architecture designing the system. So during that step, architects asked explicitly their name and patterns approaches used. So here we are verifying nothing but architectural approach. So that means what we need to be. So what are the best ways to reach our desired goals. So all these are verified. So that means here also we are performing the evaluation, how to we are achieved, and how much of our desired quality is achieved, and how to achieve remaining quality. So all these are verified here. And in the fifth step, generate quality attribute utility tree. So that means here we are verifying the quality attributes. For example, if you are observing this diagram, here we are observing some quality attributes. So those type of attributes are performance, usability, availability, so and security. So all these are necessary when we are performing the evaluation. So we are already discussed all these things before this topic. So that means in the case of architecture evaluation also, here we are performing the evaluation on the software architecture, whether those type of modules are properly functioned or not. So the last step of the first phase is analyzing architectural approaches. So that means here we are analyze the architectural approach. So that means how we are achieving, what we are achieving, and what to be we are achieved. Okay, and what are the errors are here, how many number of modules are there, and how they are interconnected. Okay, and what is our desired goal, whether we are reached or not. So all these things are verified here if you are observing this diagram. So this is the architectural approach analysis. So that means here we are considering each and every details. So that means, for example, how many number of persons are needed, how much of time is needed, okay, and how much of amount is needed. So for example, maybe if it is a out of scope or maybe the within the scope. So all these are verified and mentioned. So like this. So this will be referred as architectural approach here. So if you are observe this, so here we are observing some quality attributes, availability, okay, and verifying the environment, stimulus, response, okay, architectural decisions. So whether it is sensitivity or not. So all these things are here we are verified here. So how many number of systems are needed, okay, how they are interconnected. So all these are verified into the architectural approach analysis. Okay, and this brainstorm and prioritize scenarios. And second step is analyze the architectural approaches and present the results. So the name is implies here brainstorm and prioritize scenarios. So that means here we are giving some priority for the collected scenarios. So that means brainstorm means nothing but here we are performing some group discussion, or maybe we are giving we are maintaining some discussion between the developers. So based upon the discussion, we try to modifying the existing architecture. So that means whatever maybe we are developing that architecture, that will be performing some modifications. Why? Because if it is not reached to the exact our desired quality, or maybe if it is not satisfying the user requirements, or maybe if it is if the modules are not properly functioned. So though all these type of scenarios are we are discussed, and we are giving some importance for the some particular things. Why? Because so which are having the more priority, so those are selected. So and another thing, analyze the architectural approach, and finally we are present the results. So these are the steps in the ATAM. Okay. So if you are observing the some of the brainstorm scenarios here, so some of the numbers are also mentioned, and some of the scenarios are also here considered. So for example, number one, so previously public data is made private and access is adjusted accordingly. So if it is 6, decide to support. So if it is 9, a user requests new field for the asynchronous queries. We are assigned some numbers, and we are based upon these scenarios. We are performing the some discussion between the developers or maybe the architects. So based upon this discussion, we try to change the developed architecture. Okay. Finally, we try to analyze the architectural approach. So that means follow the same steps several, and we try to identify whether we are reached to the our desired quality or not. In the final case, present the results. So the following outputs are presented. The architectural approaches are documented. The set of scenarios, their prioritization from the brainstorming, the utility tree, the risks discovered, the non-risks documented, the sensitivity points and trade-off points found. So that means all these are the outputs of the ATAM. So that means in the case of ADM, mainly consider 3 groups, and the ADM follows the 4 types of phases: 0 phase, 1 phase, 2 phase, 3 phase. And 0 phase is used for to performing the establishment between the partners. Okay, and first and second steps are performing the evaluation, and the third step performing the follow-up. So in the first phase having the 6 steps, and the second phase also having the 3 steps. These 2 phases are used for to perform the evaluation. So now we are discussing about the another topic of this unit. So that is CBAM. So what is a CBAM? Cost and benefits analysis method. So what is the need of using the cost and benefit analysis method? So previously I mentioned to this. So architecture evaluation can be done by using the 2 types of methods. So these 2 types of methods are performing the evaluation efficiently. The first one is ATAM and second one is CBAM. So CBAM means a quantitative approach to architecture design decision making. So the ATM is missing important consideration, that is the biggest trade-offs in large complex systems usually have to do with the economics. How should an organization invest its resources in a manner that will maximize its gains, minimize the risk? So that means here in the case of ADM, so it will be faces some problems. So those type of problems are related with the economical issues. So that means so it will be planned and maybe performing the evaluation efficiently, but not able to giving the exact economical issues. So that's why we are based upon to the cost and benefits analysis method. So this method, the name is implies here we are able to easily identify after performing the evaluation. So how much of investment is we are using for to developing this architecture. At the same time, how much of benefit is we are receiving after developing this architecture. So that will be clearly identified by using the CBAM. So in the past, this question may be primarily focused on the costs, and even then these we are primarily costs of the buildings systems in the first place and not long-term costs. Those cycles of the maintenance and upgrade. So given that the resources for the building and maintenance system are finite, that must be rational process that helps us choose among architectural options during the both an initial design phase and subsequent upgrade periods. So that means the main purpose of using the CBAM is to address this need for academic decision making. So that means when we are developing the software architecture, definitely we will consider the financial issues also. So whether maybe we are facing the losses, or maybe whether we are facing the profits also. So that will be used for to developing the quality software architecture also. For example, maybe in some type of situation, maybe facing the losses. So at the time of situation, how to recover that? So at the same in the same way, in some type of situations, maybe we are getting profits if that software is maintaining good quality attributes, and it will be maintain the good business qualities also. Okay. So the main purpose of using the CBAM is, so in this case, ADM is not properly functioned this. So that means not able to identify the cost and benefits. It builds on the ADM to model the costs and the benefits architectural design decisions and is means of optimizing such decisions. CBAM provides an assessment of the technical and economic issues and architectural decisions. So if you are observing this decision making contest, so how it will be taking the decision. The software architect or decision maker wishes to maximize the difference between the benefit derived from the system and the cost of implementing the design. So that means here we are identifying or maybe performing the some difference from the investment of the software architecture, at the same time what we are getting after developing the software architecture. Then only we are able to get how much of benefit is received after developing this particular software architecture. So the CBM begins where the ADM concludes, and in fact depends upon the artifacts that the ADM produce as output. So here contest for the CBM. So first one here in this diagram, if you are observing here, so the main things, which type of things are mainly focused in the CBM is, okay, CBM is business goals, architectural strategies, and cost. And here we are observing some of the attributes. So some few of the attributes only represented here. So those are performance, security, modifiability, usability, and the final thing is the benefit. So that means in the case of CBAM, mainly focus on the business type of the qualities. Why? Because so this method completely verifies the cost and benefits of the analysis method. Okay, I think the name is implies, if you are observing this cost benefit analysis method, CBAM. So this method is used for to identify how much of investment is used for to developing the software architecture. At the same time, how much of benefit is we are received after developing this architecture. So that's why, so in the case of contest of the CBAM, mainly we are consider these things. So first of all, so identify what are our business goals. So that is the first step before developing any type of the software. So this is the first step to performing the evaluation. So why we need to performing the evaluation of the software architecture? To verify whether we are reaching our goals or not. So this is the first step. So business goals. And second thing is architectural strategies. So that means here which type of strategies are used to achieve that type of the quality, or maybe we use it to achieve that particular type of the desired goals. So how we are achieving those type of goals? By using some strategies. Maybe those strategies are include performance, security, modifiability, usability. So finally we are getting some benefit, and here we are observing the investment that will be mentioned here, cost. So the basics for the CBAM is utility. The basics for the CBAM is utility. Utility is determined by considering the issues described in the following sections. So here utility means here we are using different types of utilities. So various of the scenarios. The CBAM uses scenarios as a way to concretely express the represent specific quality attributes, just as in the ADM. We structure scenario into three parts. So those type of three parts are stimulus, environment, response. So we already discussed about these things in the quality attributes. So stimulus means an interaction with the system. Okay, environments the system state at the time, and the response means the measurable quality attribute that are the results. So that means when we are developing one software architecture, we should be consider these three things. So those are nothing but the first one is stimulus. So how to what is the how we are interacting with the system, at the same time environment. So that means state of the system, and the response after using this software. then what will be the result? That will be considered as the response. However, there is a difference between methods. The CBM is actually uses set of scenarios generated by varying values of the responses rather than individual scenarios in the ADM. So that means in the case of ADM, we are based upon to the individual scenarios. Okay, but in the case of CBM, here we are using different types of scenarios. So the CBM actually uses set of scenarios generated by varying values of the responses. So based upon those type of responses or maybe the scenarios, here we are deciding the quality of the software architecture. So utility response curves. So every stimulus response value pair in a scenario provides some utility to the stakeholders. The utility different possible values response can be compared. So that means here we are observing different types of stimulus response curves. So these response curves are different from one to another. So here we are collected different number of scenarios. So in the case of ATM, just only we are based upon to the individual scenarios. So whether we are maintaining the quality or not, whether we are achieving the performance efficiently or not, whether we are maintaining the portability in the efficiently or not. So in the case of ATM, just we are based upon the individual. We can portray each relationship between a set of utility measures corresponding set of response measures as a graph. So the utility response curve, some of the examples utility response curves are shown in the figure. In each points labeled A, B or C represent different response values. So if you are observing this, here we are mentioned the response, quality attribute response. Okay, so quality attribute response, how much of quality attribute is received. So here if you are observing this, so here in the first diagram, so we are maintaining the straight line, so that means increasing. So in the case of second one, so we can mention as some different curve. So in the case of third one, mentioned into the another type of way. So in the fourth one, it will be mentioned in another type of way. So that means here we are consider different types of scenarios. Okay, so these are the utility response curves. According to this response curve, we are deciding whether we are able to achieve that particular type of the quality or not. Okay, here we are implementing the process of the flow diagram for the CBM. Okay, we are implementing the process for the CBM. So how we are implementing the CBM? Here we are follows a number of steps. So first of all, if you are observing this, so the first one is collect scenarios, and second one is refine scenarios, and third one is priority scenarios, and the fourth one is assign utility, and fifth one is develop architectural strategies for scenarios and determine the quality attribute response level, and determine the expected utility value of the architectural strategy using the interpolation. So last one is calculate total benefit obtained from an architectural strategy and choose architectural strategies based on ROI, return on investment. So ROI means return on investment subject to cost constraint. So finally, confirm the results with the institution. So if it is a stop, otherwise we can repeat the same process. Are you understood or not? So that means initially we are based upon to the collecting some scenarios. So based upon that scenarios, we are having some opinion about that, or maybe we are having the status of the software architecture after performing the evaluation by using different types of the curves. Okay, now we are refining the scenarios. So that means we try to change. So whatever it may be the existing different types of the problems. So now we are modifications to achieving the quality. So that process is nothing but refine the scenarios. Next, priority scenarios. So that means here we are selecting which is some of the things we are giving the more importance. So priority scenarios. So finally, assigning utility. So utility means here we are using to perform some functions. Okay, and the next one, develop architectural strategies for scenarios and determine the quality attributes for response level. So that means here we are using nothing but here we are identifying whether we are achieved our desired quality attributes or not. Okay, so here we are identifying. So develop an architectural strategies for scenarios and determine quality attribute response level. here we are measure the response. So that means what is the meaning of response? So after delivering the software to the end user, or maybe the after completion of the software architecture, we are performing the evaluation. So after the result of the execution of that software architecture, that will be referred as a response. It is a measurement. So and it will be giving the specification how much of quality is also achieved. Okay. Now here we are develop architecture strategies. So that means which type of strategies are used for to achieve that those type of quality, and it will be giving the level. So next we try to determine the expected utility value of the architecture strategy using interpolation. So that means, so in some type of situations maybe we are not reached to the our exact expectations. So at that time of the situation we need to include some other things to achieve the particular quality of the attributes here. So that type of the step is done here, and final step is here we are calculating the total benefit obtained from the architectural strategy. And the last one is choose architectural strategies based on the return on investment subject to cost to constraint. So for example, confirm the results with the institution. So that means if you are achieving the benefits after performing the software architecture, okay, otherwise we are repeating the same step. So this type of procedure is followed into the CBAM. Okay, these are the nothing but implementation of the steps to achieve the desired qualities by using CBAM. So that means up to now we are discussing 3 points in this session. So the first one is analyzing the architectures. That is the first part of the second unit. In the case of first unit, first part, here we are mentioned analyzing the architectures. So how we are analyzing the architectures? By performing the architecture evaluation and architecture design decision. So that means here we are evaluating the architectures. At the same time, we are consider some of the design decisions during the development of the architecture. So how we are how we are performing the evaluation. So here we are consider the 6 type of inspections. Those are nothing but financial, and second one arranging the reviews, and third one capture rationales, and third one identifying the errors and validation requirements, and the last one is here we are implementing the architecture. Sorry, improve the architecture. So those are nothing but 6 types of inspections to performing the evaluation. At the same time, we are consider some of the properties also. So before performing the evaluation, definitely the architects may be having the clear idea about the goals. At the same time, cost and key personnel. So nothing but how we are maintain the security. So which is the best way to maintain the security. And here we are performing the evaluation, whether it will be suitable to release in the competitive environment or not. And here last one is manage the expectations. So these are, we are performing manually, we are not using any type of the methods. So but if you are using ADM, so this is the one of the efficient way to performing the evaluation. So how we are performing the evaluation in the ADM? Here we are using 3 groups. Those are evaluation team, project decision makers, and another one is the architect stakeholders. So in the case of ADM, we are using 4 phases: 0 phase, 1 phase, 2 phase, 3 phase. 1 and 2 phases are performing the evaluation. 0 phase using performing the partnership and preparation, and third phase performing the follow up. So in the phase 1 also we are using some type of the steps. So those are 6 steps, and phase 2 also having the 3 steps. So what are they? Present ADM and present business drivers, present architecture, identifying the architecture approach, and generate attribute tree, and analyze the architecture approach. In the case of phase 2 also we are using 3 steps: brainstorm, brainstorm and prioritize scenarios and analyze the architecture. And the last one is here we are identifying the results. So anyhow, ADM is not completely focused on to the benefits. So that's why we are using CBM. That is the one of the efficient way to evaluate the architectures. So that means after performing the evaluation, whether we are achieving benefits or maybe the losses. So how do we are implementing the CBM is previously I am discussed through this diagram, through this last diagram. So initially collecting some different scenarios refine the scenarios and giving some priority for the scenarios, assign the utility, and verifying the status. So how much of quality sir we are achieved, and second one, how to we are achieved remaining qualities, or maybe so try to achieve some other expectations. So finally calculating the benefit and choose the architectural strategies based on the ROI. If it is satisfied, okay. Otherwise, we are repeating the same steps until we are achieving our desired qualities. So the part one of the second unit is completed. In the next class, we are try to discuss the part two. So if any members having any type of the doubts, please ask me now. Otherwise, you can contact me through audio and video. Okay, sir. Okay. If any member is having any type of the doubts, you can contact me through my personal number or maybe the WhatsApp number. No problem. Okay. All of the members, please using the mute during the session. Don't try to create any type of the disturbance. Members, some of the members only submitting the assignment. So that is your choice. So if you are doing that assignment, you will be easily attempt the exam, and you try to get the good marks in the exam. I hope so. You try to do best. That is the best thing. Okay. You try to submit the assignment before the Thursday. Okay. Thank you everyone. We can end our session now. Srinivas sir. Srinivas sir. Okay, we can end our session. Thank you everyone.